Hello and welcome to a brand new 5 Heart Live. On a Thursday night, 9 o'clock Central, God's time zone. It is the eve of Spring Game Eve, and Husker Nation is abuzz. My name is Greg Mahochko. This guy over here is our founder, our fearless leader, John Dam Johnston. And this gentleman is one of you, but also one of us. He walks in both worlds. That's right. He's Blade. No, from CornNation.com and a pretty regular Chatterfield here on the comment section, and joining us live through the keyboard is our very own Aaron Rostovsky. Assuming I pronounced that right, Aaron.
Nailed it.
Yes.
Oh, I should record that and replay it over and over.
See, when you have a last name like Mahochko, you become a little bit more aware and perceptive to other unique last names. So, good to have you here on the show. Thanks for joining us, because you are a new, again, dad, right?
Indeed I am.
Tell us about that sweet 8-week paternity leave you were bragging about earlier.
It is magical. Get to lots of baseball games. I'm sure everyone's getting sick of seeing my name on all the articles on Corn Nation.
Nope.
No, they're not.
And I say this with love, and also, in all honesty, they're only here for the football stuff. Right, John?
No, I don't know. We have baseball people. Baseball coming up. Baseball.
You're right. Baseball, yes. Basketball, no. Baseball, yes. Basketball, no.
Once we stick that first place in the conference, we get a few more likes on the baseball articles.
Dion Pryor with us, kind of as usual. I say kind of because I think there was a week or two where he wasn't able to join us, but Dion says, happy 420, guys. Yes, it is April 20th. I don't know the significance of that day. It's 2 days post-tax day, and really that's about all it.
You don't know the significance of April 20th?
It's just another day. It's a Thursday.
I quit drinking 3 years ago.
That is significant.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm here to celebrate that.
So you should blaze it.
I don't know what that means. What's Blaze the Trail?
Yes.
Alundra Blaze? Johnny Blaze?
Okay.
There are going to be some people out there who understand and appreciate those references, and I salute them. Fred is here, and right off the bat wants to know what I am drinking. You got some of the letters right, and you put a few extra in there that don't belong, Fred. And he's drinking enough margaritas to be unable to Uber. I'm not entirely sure what exactly that means, but I am drinking, as I promised last week, although I got the name wrong, Sam Adams. I thought it was Alpine Ale. It's Alpine Lager. It is brisk and smooth. Hazy and golden, this unfiltered lager is a breath of fresh air. The crisp maltiness and lively citrus notes transport you to brisk, sunny days out in the mountains. Alpine Lager, Sam Adams Brewing Company. I guess it's technically Boston Brewing Company. Sorry.
So what's going on?
Well, I want to start, since Aaron is here. And don't worry, if you're jumping in or if you're here just to talk about the spring game, we will get there. But Aaron is here, and Aaron is one of our beat writers for Husker baseball. And we had a unique situation. First of all, we had a great weekend against Northwestern with the sweep, although it wasn't looking so promising early on in that Friday night game. Correct, Aaron?
That is indeed the case. Yeah, we were down 3-0 to start with, and then I think when you combine all the games after that, we went on something like a 37-3 run after that point, I believe.
It was all right, I'm going to borrow a phrase that I heard once when I was in terrestrial radio and we were celebrating a grand reopening of the McDonald's in town. It was a McMagical day. 8-3, 9-2, 18-5. They used up all the offense because Creighton came to town.
It was a baseball giveaway day there.
Good Lord. There's something about those teams from Omaha, and we'll get into not the end of the game, but certainly the suspension of the game here in a minute. But what is it? I tried answering the question. For those of you who missed last week's show, you're not alone. John Johnston also missed last week's show. So it was just me for an hour by myself. And the question came up. Don't look at me like that, John. You weren't here. But the question came up about why Nebraska struggles in the, during the week games. The best guess that I have, based on, listening to people smarter than me, is because you're really using the middle week game to test out talent and evaluate them in a live situation for the weekend, correct?
Oh yeah, you're getting guys at bats that normally wouldn't be seeing a whole lot of at bats, especially early in the season. Now they're kind of like, oh crap, we kind of fooled around too much midweek early on, so now we gotta kind of take these a little more serious than we do. But it's
You can't
honestly
throw
probably
them
too
away.
late. Yeah.
I mean,
So yeah, they've got guys getting at bats, and we're getting more and more pitchers healthy and rested, and so some guys that we haven't seen for a while are finally starting to get some action in both the midweek and, luckily for Northwestern on Sunday, they got some guys some action that really needed to get on the field as well.
It's such, from when I played baseball back in high school, and I am not at all equating high school baseball to college baseball, but I was one of those players who was a 10-run player, which meant I played if we were up by 10, I played if we were down by 10. So you have a few of those younger guys, or, that you're trying to figure out, trying to find spots for, or nothing else, trying to get them some innings, get them some at-bats. When you win 18-5, that is a bit of a luxury. It creates that opportunity for some of those guys.
Yeah, we were having guys that I think one of them had been a month and a half, one of them had been a month since they'd pitched at all. So, yeah, we're going to need some of those guys coming down the stretch, especially the way that our RPIs look, and we're going to need to win the Big Ten tournament to probably get in the NCAAs, and you're not going to make it through there unless you've got pitching on pitching on pitching on pitching. So,
well,
let's be honest about Northwestern's baseball program.
It's not good.
It's a bucket of shit.
It's in as bad a shape as anyone.
Their coaches, literally their entire coaching staff, other than their head coach, left about 3 weeks into the season?
Yep.
Because the guy they hired is such a tyrant.
Yeah, and it's not just he did hire on some guys from Northwestern before that came on his staff, but he also brought in guys, especially on his staff, into that staff, and those guys left too. That tells you something's really, really amiss when guys that he specifically brought in are just like, all right, we've had enough. So,
well,
that's a problem because their RPI is only going to get shittier.
Mm-hmm.
And we need their RPI to not get shittier.
Yeah, you need your RPI to be somewhere in like the mid 40s to even have a chance at an at-large bid.
I have this question because obviously Northwestern's not standing. They don't have good footing where they're at, but they're still not Penn State, right? I mean, like for whatever reason, Penn State continues to be the laughingstock, the cellar dweller of the Big Ten.
Honestly, because Northwestern beat Illinois in a series 2 weeks ago, and I have no idea how that happened. Their earned run average is like 3 runs worse than the next worst team for their pitching staff, and their defense is like far and away like there's no chance anyone will be as bad as them the rest of the year.
John is joining us on YouTube. I think he's here for the football part of the conversation. He says, "What's baseball?" Baseball is a sport created in the 1800s.
Oh my God.
John, when are you going to start your series on the history of baseball?
I'm not.
Fine.
I don't like baseball that much. I love college baseball. I love Nebraska baseball. I would like to love Big Ten baseball, but that would require that more than 4 teams in the Big Ten actually gave a shit about their own fucking baseball teams.
I was going to say you'd be one of the few because outside of Eastern Nebraska, and I say Nebraska fans, for whatever reason, Nebraska fans show out regardless of circumstance, regardless of the situation. Football, consecutive games or sellout streak, say whatever you want about it. I love the fact that open seats are going to people who may not otherwise get to go see a Husker game. Say whatever you want about it. If it's fabricated, I don't care. We've shown, sorry, John, that Nebraska does care about basketball. Obviously, we're there for volleyball, wrestling, but baseball, I mean, you're talking about college baseball in Lincoln, Nebraska in March, where it is not fun to do anything outdoors in March, and Nebraska fans still show up.
That's an attitude thing.
But you don't see that across.
Outdoors fun in March. Hold on a second. Aaron, are you familiar with Legion Baseball in Nebraska?
Oh, yeah, that's what I played. I didn't have a high school team.
It's very strong across the state of Nebraska, right?
Right.
Yep.
And I'd say that Nebraska, as a state, there's a lot of, everybody talks about Nebraska football and high school football and stuff like that, but Legion Baseball across the state of Nebraska is a huge thing. Yeah. I didn't get to play baseball when I was a kid, but, I know that following that there's a huge number of people that just love the game, and in Nebraska, we're always in the top 25 in the nation for attendance. So damn it, John. I forgot. It just went ahead. Whatever I was going to say next just went out of my head. I'm not in my normal setting.
Johnny Utah, who actually made a bit of an entrance into the comment section. People were rejoicing in the comments for one of the fellow Chatterfields, which is tremendous. Johnny Utah says, let's be honest, we aren't a baseball school. However, follows it up with not a baseball school, bowling and volleyball.
I think we can be many things.
We could be anything. You know what?
You're first place baseball school right now.
Yeah, we're first place baseball school right now.
So I don't know why in my son's first grade class, they did this thing when we got the week we were on vacation. They were making little cardboard suitcases, and I guess they're traveling. And every week they're learning about a different country. They've quote unquote been to Germany, Australia, and for whatever reason now they're in China, which is brings about what I'm about to tell you extra funny because today is part of their special meal. They had fortune cookies, which we all know were invented in America, but I digress. And I guess my boy's fortune said something about the amount of doors that will be open to him in his life. He has an infinite number of opportunities, and so does Nebraska.
So are you going to go into Iowa?
Well, I figure we'd finish up talking about the unique situation that happened against Creighton.
Oh, yeah, that.
The game in the 7th inning got suspended due to, I believe it was inclement conditions, correct?
Yeah, due to lightning within the 7-mile radius of the stadium.
Why don't they, if one team had a lead, would they have just called it?
You can at that point. Apparently there was some pre-agreement before the game between the coaches that should something happen that they would at least finish the game.
Gotcha.
At a further date, which would probably be at the next Creighton game.
Well, yeah, let's talk about this. And I'm scrolling up right now just to see who did the article. It was you. Hey, that's convenient. So that when the game resumes, as you said, again, coronation.com for the best Nebraska baseball coverage. The obvious later date is May 9th when the teams will finish out their 3-game season series. Downside being that one's going to be at Omaha, where this game was here in Lincoln. You go on to say that the game will resume at the exact point in which it was suspended, tied at 4, the bottom of the 7th with no outs. Gabe Swanson up at bat, Max Anderson on third base, Garrett Englum second base, Charlie Fisher on first base. That's not bad. No outs and the base is jacked. And Creighton was bringing in a new pitcher. However,
very slowly.
Yeah, I was going to say, I like your opining here. Stalling their decision.
Situation?
What?
It's damn close to it in my eyes.
What was it? I'm sorry, John. I didn't hear the question.
A tarp situation.
Oh.
The Purdue tarp.
You remember that, Greg?
I don't.
We need to refresh them.
Okay. Tell my story. Tell the story. Refresh my memory.
Aaron?
So Nebraska was a half game back from getting into the Big Ten tournament last year. All that had to happen was the best team in the conference, Maryland, had to beat one of the worst teams in the conference, Purdue. Purdue decided there was rain in the forecast. They were going to leave their tarp on the field and say that they were in a weather delay despite there being no rain falling whatsoever. And BTN was at that game. BTN was like, there's nothing happening here. There's no lightning in the area. But the tarp just continued to remain on the field. And eventually it got to where Maryland had to get on their flight home that they had scheduled.
Geez.
And the game never happened. So Purdue got to advance into the Big Ten tournament where they got 2 and barbecue, about as fast as you could possibly get knocked out.
Which is why at Coronation, from here and to the end of my life or whatever, we will refer to the Purdue baseball team as the Purdue Tarps. Not the Purdue Boilermakers, not whatever stupid ass name they want us to call them. They're the Tarps from now on.
Let me ask you this: since that occasion, has there been any rule put into place to prevent that from happening again?
No, but
that's unfortunate.
As it should happen, the final series of the Big Ten season this year is Nebraska, Purdue. It's happening. Blood will be shed. And it's at Purdue, so we get to see the tarp in person.
Great.
I'm going to be there. I'll somehow get a picture with it.
At this point, the tarp's a bigger celebrity, or better known than the Purdue team itself, which is not in first place like your Nebraska Cornhuskers. They are. I mean, realistically, they've played 3 more games. They have 3 more losses. But let's talk about a team that has 3 more losses, but also 3 less wins. It's the opponent for this weekend, and of course, this one is going to be at Iowa Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's Nebraska and the Hawkeyes. What can we expect in this age-old baseball rivalry?
Well, it's hard to predict with Iowa what's going to happen. They're upside down in the conference right now, but they've played the toughest schedule thus far. But they did also lose on Friday night with their best pitchers, who some people say is the best pro prospect in the Big Ten. Got beat by Minnesota, so it's real hard to see what we're going to do with them. But as far as Nebraska goes, we're going back to our 2 aces. Kaminska took last week off against Northwestern so we could get some other guys some time, and so he could get rested up because he was kind of hitting the wall is what Coach Bolt thought. So he'd had a couple of bad outings in a row after just being dominant his first 5 showings. So hopefully with Olsen and him back in there and the offense screaming at the pace that they're going at, knocking balls out of the yard, we can do enough damage to where it doesn't matter how well their ace is throwing on Friday night that we can take them down.
I want to go back to one of our comments as I mentioned about the possibility of a new conference rule preventing a team from just being too chicken shit to play a baseball game, and mentioning new rules, and John says new rules in baseball. LOL. Let's not forget that Major League Baseball did a lot this offseason. I mean, almost an obnoxious level of rules changes. Aaron, I feel like you may be something of a baseball purist.
I love the pitch clock.
Okay, well,
it doesn't really affect Nebraska much because our pitchers, man, hitters get so mad at how fast our pitchers work. They try to do everything to step out of the box, but with that new pitch clock, they can't do that anymore. They'll get strikes called on them if they keep doing that. So yeah, I love the pitch clock. I don't need to waste time watching guys go like this, wrapping their wristbands and drawing letters in the sand, and all that's gone.
Two, I don't know if we have a whole lot to talk about with the upcoming series against Iowa, but Josh says, I legit didn't even know Iowa had baseball. And Fred says, I bet Iowa watches 8 men out before the game is motivation. He has several dirty puns he could use, but he's evolving. And we appreciate that about you, Fred. Oh, God. Here we go. Bad puns here. He says, oh, God, if we end up firing Rhule, will it be called a rule change?
That's a long ways down the road, Fred. Come on.
It'll never happen. We're going to, he's going to retire after winning his 4th national championship.
Aaron, do you know what Iowa's RPI is right now?
I have that right here. It is sitting at 57.
So this would be a really, really nice series win for Nebraska if we get it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And for the short term, it'd be the best. Once we beat Iowa, we've got a couple weeks where we've got easier conference schedules coming up to get our seeding up in the Big Ten tournament too.
Aaron, for the uninitiated or those who just don't follow college baseball, why did I see a headline or an article earlier this week that said that Nebraska is in a position where they could make the NCAA tournament, but also not?
So they use the NCAA basically uses RPI, which is a basketball metric that even basketball's gone away from, to kind of figure out a balance of strength of schedule and wins, losses versus like different quadrants of quadrant ones, the really good teams that you beat, and so on and so forth. And it has some merit, but I don't think it should be the end all be all, where basically if you're not an RPI 45, you're zero chance of making the NCAA on your own. You've got to go out and win your conference. So, because like if you look at Iowa's strength of schedule, which is what people are saying with Nebraska, is that's why our RPI is so down. Iowa's strength of schedule is 203rd in the nation. Nebraska's 214th. So for our RPI to be 109 when theirs is 57 is kind of
backwards.
Yeah, I don't see how it could be that big of a difference, especially when Iowa does a funny thing where they like to schedule not only, so people complain that we schedule like UNO, who's kind of a lower Division I team, so their RPI is always in the basement, but Iowa goes out. This year they scheduled 2 Division III teams. They actually beat them both this year, which last year didn't happen. Last year they lost to, I think it's Loras College. I don't even know how to pronounce it.
That's where Todd's daughter went to school.
So they scheduled 2 of those this year. They scheduled St. Thomas, who, it's a weird situation. I think they're a Minnesota team where they were Division III, somehow lost the ability to be in their conference. And they're like, well, can we petition to just be a Division I school? And they're like, okay. And so that they made a jump from Division III to Division I, which has never happened before.
Jeez.
And they ended up on Iowa's schedule. So basically 3 Division III teams. And then they even scheduled an NAIA team. So Nebraska doesn't do any of that. So I don't know how our RPIs can be that much worse with that kind of scheduling.
Dion wants to know, as we get ready to close the book on baseball, do we have the pitching to be a tournament team?
I think we're finding that out, that we've got the 2 aces. I mean, Olson's challenging to be an All-American. Kaminska, when he was on that 5-game streak, was as good as could have been an ace on more than half the other teams. And we're starting to find that we've got 2 guys in Will Walsh and Jackson Brockett that can both start games and go 5-6 innings deep. And then we're getting a couple bullpen guys back that are. Jake Buns is finally looking like he's full strength and he can be a closer. We've got Shanneman as a closer that can go 6 innings if needed. So it's good to have guys that can balance like that. And then CJ Hood should be making an appearance, if not this week, next week for sure. And he's been out all season.
Is
Then
this
you got Max Anderson and Bryce Matthews.
And when you've got those two guys on offense, I mean,
Yeah.
we've got, I think, the top pitching ERA in the conference if for second. But when you've got an offense like that, if you can just kind of steady guys down, especially when you get in the Big Ten tournament and you're playing in a pitcher's ballpark, if you've got Bryce and Max at the top, you're sitting pretty well.
is this the deepest the pitching staff has been in recent memory?
When it's probably not quite as good as 2021, but pretty close if we can get those last two injured guys healthy. And Kyle Perry's kind of in that same mode, but those three injured guys, if they can come back, then I think we'd be right up there with that team.
Here's a good one to end the baseball conversation on. I mean, unless somebody has a comment or question. But Brando Sports Rule says, GBR baseball, nice to see us kicking freaking ass. Yeah.
Aaron, are you going to make a prediction?
No, I'm like Todd. It's not good. You've got two baseball writers that hate making predictions, but I'm not a big prediction guy. That's why I love baseball. It's so interesting to see how it ends up on the field. You can have Northwestern beating Illinois one week, and Iowa losing to Minnesota, and then losing to UIC. So I just hope that our two pitchers.
We're going to have to sit down in person and have a talk about this.
I know
John
We're
just
going to
wants
go 2-1. We're winning this series 2-1.
John
Okay.
just wants his baseball writers to nut up and make a prediction.
I did the first week, and we saw how that went. That was when we went 0-3-1.
I always forget that baseball people are the most superstitious sons of bitches on the planet. You know,
That's right.
Let's not do, oh my God, we won a series. Let's not shower for 3 weeks.
No, you don't shower until your next loss. You hope it's 3 weeks or longer.
Just
I'm on
weird.
week 3 of my paternity leave, so I mean,
John, you could work from home, so you don't really ever have to shower.
There is something called hygiene.
I'm just saying, for a winning streak, you sleep downstairs. You're
How
fine.
do you get into these things?
You're the one who said that baseball,
you got more
fans
hair
are
than we do.
superstitious.
Okay.
All right, well, let's move on.
Yes.
Let's get into some of the baseball. I'm sorry, not the baseball, the football. Ugh. And before we get to all the fun action on Saturday, we have our first recruit of the 2025 class. Now, if you're keeping track at home, the next class is 2024. So what's so special about this first commit? Caden Vermus from Millard North. He's the first commit from Millard North since 2008, and he's the first commit to the 2025 recruiting class. He is a 6-foot, 195-pound athlete who was actually offered by not the previous head coach, but at least the previous interim head coach back in October, and reaffirmed by Matt Rhule. He played both ways as a sophomore at Millard North and is likely to play safety at Nebraska. And you just never know, though, trying to figure out exactly how fast he is. But, of course, Nate didn't put those metrics on the article on coronation.com. So, welcome aboard. Hometown talent, staying home. And we talk about that Omaha area, and I apologize to any Omaha Millard alums who are joining us. Isn't Millard in or around the Omaha area?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So it's good to start getting some of those guys to really give Nebraska a look, right?
Yeah, definitely. Millard North used to be the kind of powerhouse for Class A back when I was there at Crouch, right? Wasn't it at his school?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, back when he was in there and they were winning state title after state title for quite a long time. And I know I think they've got like one of the better sophomore classes in the state. So this may not be the last to come from that sophomore class in that school.
Yeah, Millard North. Well done. I really thought
I'm
that I
seeing
had
a
more to say there.
4540 on his Twitter profile is what he says.
Well, I'd like to see
Crouch
that in
or this
person.
new guy.
Eric Crouch. He's got a few years of eligibility left. He's coming back. All I know, we got a winning comment here from Dion, who says it's about time that Nebraska gets a commit to the 25 class because Alabama and Georgia have their 25 class already filled. So a little fun, a little poke and prod at our neighbors to the southeast. So with that being said, let's turn our attention to Saturday. And before we get to the game itself, and we're going to talk about a few notables who are going to be there. And we all know that Frank Solich is coming back. It has been said. It has been announced. We are all excited for it. Before we even get talking about Frank Solich, there's another face from old coming back this weekend, guys. You know who I'm talking about, right? Let's do this. Oh, that's right. This guy's coming back.
Well, it's not that guy. That guy's got that
Different hand
okay
signals.
sign thing going on that they don't like anymore.
Hey, that's all right. It's fine. It's all good. All I know is that I bought this as a quote-unquote vintage shirt. You can just scratch a line through that vintage. This is modern. This is contemporary. This is hot and fresh. Oh, yeah. Herbie's back, daddy.
So has anybody seen, I mean, we've seen the logos and the icons, but nobody's actually seen the mascot yet.
No, it's going to be part of the big game day reveal, John. I thought that was common sense.
Oh, okay. Are they going to have 22 of them?
Do you think we'll have the mascots
The red
through
team.
the ages?
You know what? We have 22 sports. If you were going
I
to
thought we were doing
this
like a red and white
correctly,
Herbie.
you would have a Herbie for every sport. And then you would have 22 of them come onto the field, assume their positions on offense and defense, and then they would run a dive. They'd run an option play, and they'd pitch it to one of the Herbies, and he would run for a 68-yard touchdown, and nobody would be able to tackle him, and he would get to the end zone, rip off his head, and bam, it's Frank Solich. That's how I would have done this. I'm guessing that's probably not what's going to happen, though.
No, it's not going to be what happens.
Well, you don't know that, though.
No, but I got a pretty good idea that the new unveiled mascot is not going to be taking off the head. Like, John, you just don't do that. Like, the only time you do that, no, stop. The only time you do that is when it is a parent who's a service member who's coming home after a long deployment, and they're coming into their child's school, either at a sporting event or in the classroom, and like, oh, they're not talking, but like, we're here for pictures, and why don't you come up here?
That is exactly what I just described.
But
That is exactly what I just. Oh my God! It's Frank Solich. See that?
no, because
Nobody would expect it.
So
We would
here's
all weep. We would weep with joy.
here's what you do to retire old polo shirt Herbie. That's Frank Solich. New Herbie can't take his head off.
But he can't.
No,
Then how
there
do we get in the
there
thing?
are clearly defined mascot rules, John.
I'm thinking if Frank Solich is in one of them freaking Herbies, he can do whatever the hell he wants.
I'm thinking that we need to have Aaron or other guests on more often because I just finished this beer way early and I want to go get another one.
You can go get another one, and I'll continue to rant about Herbie.
Oh, no, I don't want to miss a moment. Like Aerosmith sang in a way too popular song, it's definitely not one of their best. I don't want to miss one smile.
Okay, here's the problem with Herbie.
Which
I
one?
don't give a shit what he looks like. I don't care if his blonde hair is blue brunette. I don't care if he's a fat guy, a skinny guy, a little kid with chicken pox. I want him to do things.
Okay.
The best mascot in the nation is Goldie Gopher, and Goldie Gopher does shit. He rides around on a tricycle that I always think when I'm on the field is going to get me killed. He does push-ups. He does stuff. He does antics with the student section. Sometimes at baseball games or whatever, he goes in the student section. When do you ever see Herbie or Harry or whoever the fuck it is do anything besides wave at the crowd?
Okay, so I'm
the laziest freak. I mean, the only mascot that's possibly lazier than our mascot is that Penn State Nittany Lion thing, that the same crappy outfit's been around since 1925, half eaten by moths. Red Bear piece of crap that they still trot out and go, oh, it's a tradition. Come on, have the mascot do shit.
all right. So the only point I will take with that is that Goldie Goofy Gopher is a cartoon gopher. Like, Herbie's a real damn man, and no real damn man's gonna get up on a trike and go pedaling around. I'm Pee-wee's little brother.
It is a motorized.
I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah, our Herbie has a golf cart with a Gatling gun on the back that he shoots T-shirts out of. When's the gopher doing that?
You know what I want our Herbie to do? I want our Herbie to take his. Now, look, I'm pretty sure that we don't have any farmers watching this because, they probably have, I hate to say, better things to do. If you're a farmer, A, let me know in the comments, and 2, I apologize in advance if I say the wrong brand. Well, all I want our Herbie to do is drive out of the tunnel in a John Deere or International Harvester or Minneapolis Moly, whatever the brand that'll piss the least amount of people. Probably International Harvester. I think they're red.
Yeah, the red one.
And do farmer shit. All right? Like, you know what I want him to do? I want him to carry around a shovel, and then when Goldie Gopher comes over, I want him to whack him upside the head with the damn shovel and then bury him. I want Herbie Husker to do man-damn things, all right? Maybe those things are eating a steak. Show me Herbie Husker eating a damn steak. Show me Herbie Husker, giving a high five to a kid, and then, you know what? Like, take the kid to church, because that's what Herbie Husker does, all right?
So really what you want is Herbie Husker laying pipe.
I don't know. He's not a pipe fitter.
Pipe in your life, have you, Greg?
He's not a pipe fitter, sir. I'm.
Oh my God.
I'm confused by your verbiage. Are you insinuating something?
No, it's laying pipe. Do you not know what that means?
First of all, you started with blaze it, and now you're starting with laying pipe. What are you, John? Do you need to tell us something?
I mean, I think I know what I think that Greg thinks that he thinks he knows.
I don't. All right, if you're...
you people don't even have to work anymore.
All right, you Chatterfields, let's get your best guess on what you think John means by laying pipe.
Fred gets it.
Okay, you know what? The other thing I'd like to see Herbie do, since there's 22 of them, or at least if there's not a full complement of 22 of them, they could have 11 or 12 of them, and they could have a 6th grade football team from, like, let's say, I don't know, Lincoln Pius come out on the field, and then they have all the Herbies just beat the shit out, run over them, splatting them into the ground. Got to be the halftime celebration.
Fred says, put him in an IH, International Harvester. It's red. Then run over Lil Red. Then head up to Minnesota and bring us Goldie's head. You know what I like about that? All of that, Fred, is that it rhymed. I like the concept. I like everything you said, Fred. Right. Well said, Fred. Well said. All right, moving on. Aaron, aren't you so glad you gave up spending quality time with your new child being here?
Oh, absolutely.
I laid plenty of pipe in my life.
Okay, John. Do you need to go to confession?
No, did you want to hear a story about laying pipe?
Okay. All right. This is officially, look, it's 20 to 10 this is officially 5 Hard After Dark.
Okay.
John, tell us about that time you laid pipe.
So years ago, I hadn't been back to Nebraska for years. My father-in-law lives out on a farm, and he goes, we got to go change the pipes. We got to go change the irrigation. Now,
Wait. Are you telling me you laid pipe with your father?
in law?
Okay.
Okay. So here's the thing. Normally, what that
documentary.
meant is you went out along the irrigation pipe, and there's gates in the irrigation pipe, and you took a corn knife or a machete, and you whacked the gates to change them to alternate the rows. You don't normally reach down there with your hands because there were too fucking many rattlesnakes.
Were you whacking pipe with your
I lost
father-in-law?
that whack.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. So he comes out there and he goes out and he gets a 12-pack of beer or 6-pack of beer, brings it in the pickup, and he goes, okay, we drive over to this field and goes, okay, we're going to change the irrigation. He walks up to this panel, he pushes a button, and he says, we're done, and hands me a beer. And that's the difference between the old days of laying pipe, irrigation pipe, you filthy-minded mongrels, and the new type of irrigation, which is all that center pivot stuff that gets, you don't even have to work anymore, and everybody just gets fat and lazy.
Okay, well, now we know what you mean by laying pipe. That is not what I thought you meant.
It is
by
not
laying
what
pipe.
you thought. What did you think it was, Greg?
I thought it had something to do with when a man loves a woman.
Okay, then.
Yeah, even Josh is like,
They both had whacking, so we're good.
Josh is, I laid pipe completely wrong. And Fred says, who all often, I'm surprised he didn't reference the Flying Salami Brothers in this, but says, bet John did a lot of center pivots in college.
You people are just so...
It's a great time to tell you about one of our fine sponsors that we have on the Five Heart Podcast, Blue Chew. That was just for you, John.
Yeah, they still have never paid us.
They don't know we exist. That's probably why. Okay, so we've talked about one return, and through happenstance talked about the other. But James Marshall said, by the way, an hour ago, God bless you, James, says, seeing Solich's face lately brings back feelings of what if, good and bad.
Are we supposed to respond to that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's gonna be exciting to see Frank back, is it not?
Yeah, I think it is. Everybody loves Frank. I think we know that he got screwed over. I've said this before. I'll say it again. Still the same thing. We would have fired him. It's just stupid that they fired him after a 9-3 season. And we would have fired him because he wasn't Tom Osborne. That's just how it goes.
That's what it is.
When you follow a legendary coach and you're not a legendary coach, that's what happens to you. But
realistically speaking,
was really dumb.
Look, the same thing is poised to happen at Alabama, right? When Nick Saban retires, whoever replaces him, even if you have the success that, like, recently we've seen the last couple of years, they haven't won the Natty, but they've still been beyond competitive. But if there's one slip, that guy's out on his ass. So,
well, that's what happened at Alabama after Paul Bear Bryant.
Oh, sure. I mean, it is what it is.
For the next Paul Bear Bryant, and it took them 8 coaches to get there.
It's happened to a lot of programs over here. I mean, Bobby Bowden, Florida State. Similar situations. So while we're talking about Solich, Dion says Solich must come to break the curse. So we talked a little bit about curses in the past, John.
Have we?
Yeah, because we've said that. Well, let me rephrase. Some of us have said that Lil Red needs to be sacrificed. You like Lil Red, so I'm not going to go there. But are we? I'm going to say this. I feel like Frank Solich wouldn't be the only one that would have to come back to break the curse, if there is in fact a curse. If you want to if you're saying there's a curse on this team, Frank Solich is not the only 9-3 coach you bring back, if you know what I mean.
No, I don't know what you mean.
Do we think that enough time has passed where you bring back Bo Pelini as well? Not for like a, if anything, it's a new athletic department. It's a new administration. There was a beyond ton of friction with the previous administration in Bopoli. If nothing else, I feel like it's okay for there to be a bit of an olive branch extended.
Okay, so here's a different scenario.
Okay, bring it on, big guy.
The tunnel walk is all like, oh, and everybody's like, oh, woody, woody, woody. And Frank Solich walks out with Bo Pelini's cat.
That's
Would that
fine.
be good enough for you?
That's fine.
I'm on board.
So that would break the curse.
Yeah. Fred says, okay, two things. Well, I'm going to start with Dion first. Dion was in there. Firing Frank started the curse, and Fred says that the curse isn't Frank himself. It's the firing of him that brought on everything after. Everyone after can fuck off, is what Fred says. So,
I agree with that.
now, Brando, interesting take here. While we're at it, let's just have Tom come out of retirement and coach a couple more years. No. That ship has sailed.
I think Tom should just be allowed to retire.
Right. I mean, has the man not given us enough, both as a program, as fans? He gave us 35 years?
Something like that, yes.
I mean, because didn't he come on at like 61, 62, give or take?
Yeah, it was a 65, 66.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I feel like I've let you and everybody else down.
I don't think he was there at the beginning of Devaney.
Okay.
I want to say he graduated in 62, tried to play in the NFL till 65, probably became an assistant coach with Devaney 67, 68. Let's go look it up and see if I'm right. Keep talking amongst yourself.
We will do that. While you do that, I'm going to tag a few more of these comments for later. First of all, Josh wants to know if you're in a church pew.
I am at my sister's house in Lincoln.
That didn't really answer my question. Like
has
some
a
people
big-
do have
It has a big headbed thing.
headrest, headboard,
Headbed. What did I call it?
a headbed,
Your
It's
classic
called-
bed.
Headrest.
headboard.
Headboard.
Okay, fucking whatever it is.
Hey,
Now it's a headbed.
if the board's a knocking, don't come a knocking.
Laying pipe right here on this next to this headbed.
You and your father-in-law, great
I
times.
can't believe how many people have never heard of laying pipe. What the fuck?
I mean, we have. We just it stands for something else with us younger kids.
Oh, okay. I don't want to go into any of that.
Okay. All right. Fred says, an interesting hypothetical. Mix Osborne's DNA and John, that meaning you. Give us John Osborne, an occasionally sound head coach who trends towards madness and rants on the toilet.
Oh my god!
Fred, that one I think that one shut us all down for a minute. Again, I have to learn to read Fred's comments before I highlight them.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I wouldn't have highlighted it, but I'd have been prepared.
okay.
That made me cry a little bit. God bless. All right. Josh had this comment earlier about Frank Solich. Let him run some fullback during the spring game. He's got more experience than anyone else in the building.
No, he's right about that.
He is not wrong. And real quick, let's bounce over to living in Omaha, David Matney. I wonder if he has to include that because there's a David Matney living elsewhere, so he has to be like, I'm the one living in Omaha. Anyway, is there a coordination meetup this Saturday?
You know what? Todd and I decided that before the spring game, we will just be out near the tackling guys trophy from like noon to 1, or from noon till we go into the spring game. If people want to come up and say hi and meet us and throw shit at us.
Emphasis on the last part,
Yeah.
but mostly Todd.
What is that? East? That's the east side of the stadium, right? Yes.
So there you have it. If you're looking for our founder and fearless leader, John Dam Johnston, and his sidekick, Todd, go to the east side of the stadium. Don't tell Todd, by the way, that I referred to him as a sidekick. He'll kick my ass. And by the tackling statue, and have your picture taken at $5 a pop.
Have their pictures taken?
Pictures taken with you and Todd.
Oh.
All right, so this is what we're gonna do. A hell of a deal. $10 for John, $7.50 for John and Todd.
I was thinking you were going to say $10 for me and minus $10 for Todd.
Well, I mean, if you want the group photo, you can save a few bucks, but you'll have Todd in the picture too. So again, I please don't tell Todd I said these things.
We decided on doing it this way because we were arguing so much about where to go and what to do in the Slack room that I just said, I don't know any bars. I don't know anything downtown really that much, at least on a game day atmosphere. And I thought we could just go stand out there and talk to people. I like meeting people and talking to them. So
well, prepare to meet Fred. He says, I'll be there throwing shit at John just like on the internet.
Yeah. Oh.
And this part makes me nervous. How about when we're talking about mixing DNA, we have John Osborne. How about a Greg Ferentz, an intelligent, successful man who also happens to be a shitty offensive coordinator? That could just be Greg Mahochko, really. I'm just saying, I don't trust myself with a Big Ten offense.
Well, Brian did a press conference today.
Yes.
Brian
I'm so glad we got there.
And one of the report, I think Scott Docterman from The Athletic was the one that asked him, the past few years for Iowa football have been kind of miserable. The offense isn't that good. Do you have any message for fans any message for fans? And Brian Ferentz replies, I have no message for them. This is a place where Brian Ferentz can stand up and say, you know what, we're going to try to be better this year. We've got Cade McNamara coming in, and we're working with some reason. Anything at all that can be positive or uplifting. And Brian Ferentz is a pouty little shitbag and says, I have no message for them. It is absolutely just, oh, my God. Poor Iowa. Did I say that?
No. You said it, but you didn't mean it.
Yeah.
Josh asks, is it against Iowa policy to talk to a PR firm before you speak in public? If it is, it's also against Nebraska policy. Let's not forget HCSF. I don't know. It was hilarious. I mean, it's, and some of the Iowa fans bashed the reporter for asking that question. Well, of course they would, because they have their head in the sand.
I guess.
All right, let's get back to Saturday and Frank Solich. Husker Vision, if that's what it is still called, this is from Fred, by the way, has been way ahead of the game as far as production. Only that could yield chills from us Husker fans. I think they've been, from the, he's coming back, the Frank Solich stuff to the Herbie Husker stuff. I don't disagree. I think that again, Husker Vision or what the? Why are you showing us your crotch, you weirdo? Like, you realize you're on the internet live, right?
I spaced there for a moment.
Crying out loud.
I'm not in my normal element, okay? Look at this headbed behind me.
Anyway.
Pipe going on.
You're just thinking about laying that pipe again. I don't disagree. I think that the media team, division, department, whatever it is, has been doing a good job. Look, we're Nebraska fans. It doesn't take a whole lot for us to get, geared up, ready to go for the spring game. So everything that's happening this week is just kind of feeding into it. Your guys' thoughts on the media? Not the media, but the Husker Vision, if whatever you want to call it, and how they're handling everything.
Does Husker and Vision include the social media stuff?
Sure.
Oh, I think they're one of the best in the nation. I mean, I think their social media stuff and the stuff that they do with video and keeping the fans interested and keeping things interesting for everybody. They're just, I don't know of anybody else doing a better job than them. I mean, we win the off season. That's what we do. I guess I'm on. I guess I see most of this stuff on Twitter, and I follow the other Big Ten teams on Twitter. And I mean, let's face it. Maybe Ohio State does some stuff, but like the Gophers, they did nothing for really their spring game stuff. I mean, they generate zero excitement. Not sure what Wisconsin's doing. Nobody does it like we do.
Mm-hmm.
And I realize there's a lot of people who will go, well, this is just a scrimmage. Well, you're just a sorry pissant. What do you think of that?
It's more than that. And look, I got back-to-back comments from Dion. By the way, one is just now, one is from much earlier in the show, but we're going to hit them both back-to-back, and then we're going to talk about them. So the first one here, the most recent one is by tomorrow, Dion won't be able to sleep from the excitement, and that one is paired with this one from before when he said, I'm getting nervous for the spring game like it's a regular season.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
I mean, I'm kind of excited to see Jeff Sims and how athletic he is. Or how about this? Heinrich Harburg at quarterback, a guy that our previous coaching staff completely wrote off and basically completely wrote out of the picture. And basically he was told, well, you won't be a quarterback. And I mean, look what we did last season with our quarterbacks. You had Casey Thompson get the shit beat out of him. You brought in Brock Purdy. God help him. He was not very good. Logan Smothers tried to run the offense. Heinrich Harburg never got anything. So it's excited to see how athletic he is at the quarterback position. So I realize that, again, there's a lot of these, no, it's just a scrimmage. Well, whatever. You get out of it what you put into it, and I'm going to put fun into it, and I'm going to get fun out of it. Nah. Me and my headbed. Aaron, you're supposed to respond to the comments. Are you going to the spring game?
Unfortunately, I am not this year. I was thinking about going to Iowa, but this was the weekend that...
He's got a newborn, John, crying out loud.
My sister came up to visit to meet our newborn for the first time, so I'll be hunkered down here watching it on TV.
I'm curious to know if anybody's going all in like Jackie. Jackie's going all in, making chili and pretending that it's fall. Now, I don't know about what the weather's supposed to look like in Lincoln, where I'll be. It's going to be 70-something degrees, and I've got a hard ceiling. Like, I don't make chili if it's over 45.
It's going to be 50 degrees, I understand.
Jackie.
With a lot of wind.
I'm curious. All right, I'm curious on Jackie's take. You too, I guess, as well. The whole cinnamon roll in the bottom of the chili bowl thing. Jackie, is that how you're preparing your chili on? Are you going to have some cinnamon rolls to go with? That's such a weird kind. I'm a chili and cornbread man.
Of the bowl.
That's what I've heard.
No. You eat them together, but not like...
No, it's like...
touch.
No, like, it's... I don't know who... Haas, maybe, I think, talked about this, but it's like, there's the bowl. This is the bowl. Cinnamon roll, and then chili on top.
No. What?
I'm fairly...
You just take the roll and dab it on the chili. Or you just eat them together so you get the chili kind of going and then the cinnamon roll combination taste.
What's the difference?
You don't dump shit on top of a cinnamon roll. Who the kind of psychotic motherfucker does that?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure I heard it on this podcast at some point in the 8-year history or whatever of this show.
That son of a bitch.
Oh, Fred. All right. We talked a little bit about Heinrich Harburg. I'm excited. You're right, John. I'm excited for him to get an opportunity because reading some of this, I actually read some of the Slack today, which is I don't get to do very often, but they were talking about some of the speculation. That's kind of all it was, hearsay, if you will, about Mark Whipple and how Heinrich Harburg didn't fit his idea of a college quarterback, and so he really didn't get an opportunity.
Right.
Okay. All right, moving on.
I said my bit about that. You're supposed to jump in here, Aaron.
No, we're gonna move on.
I agree 100%. The guy had no involvement in bringing him in, or really didn't kind of fit what he was looking for. So I mean, he had no attachment to him whatsoever. He was probably trying to move him to tight end or something like that.
Yeah, I think he was. He was.
Real quick before we move on, I'm going to get back to that comment that I had highlighted, but Official Bearded says, this is the type of person that puts the milk in the cereal bowl before the cereal. What the shit?
Yeah, the shit?
I'm sorry.
Guy says.
Maybe I misunderstood, but I'm pretty sure somebody on this show at some point in time said bowl, cinnamon roll, chili on top. If I misunderstood, I'll take the heat. But right now I'm going to try to fade the heat to whoever said that back in the history. Somebody go and prove me wrong. Go listen to the other 323 episodes and tell me if I'm wrong. All right.
Yeah, I still got 5 weeks left in paternity. Come on.
Brando's Sports World says, would a hybrid option with elite athletes get us to an average of at least 8 wins in the Big Ten?
If we execute it well, I'd say yes. I do. I have to wonder if there is going to be some form of option plays in our playbook going forward, just because I think that we have 18 quarterbacks with different types of I don't want to say personalities, but different types of abilities to run or throw or do whatever they want. And I think when you put the option capability in there, I mean, it's hard to defend for teams that never defend it. And you can run RPOs out of that like probably nobody's business, like stuff they never did under Osborne, and make it that much more, volatile, play breaking, boomy.
Also, we're talking about 8 wins in the Big Ten. That's 8 out of 9 when you consider 9 non-conference games. And we all know where I stand on the season, so yes. Although, at this point, no, hear me out. With Matt Rhule and company, 12-0 all day long.
Okay.
We may never lose another football game, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, I think with the elite athletes and the option, I mean, I don't think the option's good enough to beat those top tier teams. The ends nowadays compared to what we were going against in the 90s is something else. So, yeah, you can roll up 8 wins, getting beaten down some of the smaller teams, but I don't think you're gonna compete with guys like what were all those Ohio State DNs that were first and second overall?
Oh, that's true. The Boses.
You're not going to beat those.
They're
guys.
all gone. This is our time. Josh says any system with a competent offensive line will get us bowl eligible yearly. I don't disagree. I have other comments, just so you know. I just have to find them. Usually, John is Johnny on the spot, no pun intended, with finding some of these comments as well, but he's taking the week off. I mean, last week
I have a small screen. It's a smaller screen, and I only have one screen.
He's relaxing in bed, man. He's turning it off and just laying back.
It's a later start.
Yeah, don't give me that crap. All right, so we got a couple of back-to-backers here. And Brando's Sports World up again. In your opinion, fellas, what will be the top 2 position groups of both the offense and the defense? Well, that's easy. Top 2 of both offense and defense? So not just top 2, but so I think running back's going to be, it'd be running backs and receivers on the offense. And you can include tight ends and the receivers if you want. For the defense, I'm going secondary and probably the line. I saw that face, John. Shut up.
Aaron?
Yeah, definitely running backs. And as a former tight end, I think the tight ends are going to be damn good if we can just get them on the field, our top guys. But defense, I know some of the younger guys on the line aren't proven, but eventually we've got to hit some of those top recruits. Have got to pan out. I like the way the young guys have been playing in their limited time, and yeah, secondary should be the top unit on there.
I have again more questions. Or John, you haven't answered yet.
Well, I'd say running backs and I'm going to go quarterback because we have 6 scholarship quarterback. Our quarterbacking will be great. And on the defense, I think the secondary, everybody comes back and there's tons of them, and then linebackers, and then we only have 3 defensive linemen.
Oh, fine. Josh says, offering his 2 cents, running backs and quarterbacks will be bright spots on offense. Defensive backs and the other defensive backs.
Yeah.
on D. Yeah, that's again, we know where the strength is for sure. All right, let's get to spring game. Is still from Fred. Spring game EOD still orchestrated. This staff is about optics. I doubt we'll see any instance where any one unit on the team gets over on the other. You're right. The defensive line won't kill the offensive line. I said this kind of in the little write up. I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of anything on Saturday. I think it's going to be pretty vanilla, milquetoast, whatever bland, descriptor you want to use for that.
Yeah.
Matt Rhule Matt Rhule and Marcus Chatterfield combined have nothing on film to show. They each have some things that they are bringing to the table, but they're keep it simple. Go out there, actually play, which we found out they're going to play. There's going to be full 4 15-minute quarters. It's going to be as live as it can be. Just don't get anybody hurt. And show a few things, I guess.
Come on, it's gonna be unrelenting force versus unresisting passion. What's that? What are that phrase they use?
The unstoppable force and the immovable object.
Yes, that's it. The 1971 Nebraska-Oklahoma game. The unmovable object versus the tremendous force. At bed.
I like how you're just making shit up as you go, John.
It's late. I'm old.
Oh, here we go. Jackie, what Rhule said, no vanilla, not hiding anything. Well, that.
Yeah. I like this Jackie person.
Jackie, thanks for joining. You keep bringing these nuggets of wisdom, and you'll be back. Welcome back every week here. You're always welcome back. We don't have any gatekeepers. There's nobody, checking IDs. And Josh says that hopes Satterfield's first play is Harburg at fullback and a dive up the middle. Checking all the boxes, John.
Oh, it works.
I was really hoping for some more reaction for that. Okay.
Okay, with Frank Solich at quarterback.
Why not? Wait,
he whips his helmet off, and the crowd goes insane.
And Bo Pelini's cat at center. I don't know. That one didn't really work out too well. Shut up, John. Damn. All right. Living in Omaha, David Matney. Will we see an onside kick this Saturday? I'm surprised it took towards the end and Dave to mention that one. Usually that's a Fred thing. No. I would.
Now, that he's ruined the onside kick forever.
Yeah.
We do need to work on it.
Shut up, Aaron. All right, so we've got official Bearded says, I really hope we beat Colorado just so we can shut up Sanders, talking about himself in the third person. $1 million douchebag. John, your thoughts?
What? I hope we really beat. I
just read the damn comment. Were you not paying attention?
I'm paying attention. I just, getting slower. Colorado, I don't understand.
I'd just like to add that I do hope we beat Colorado, just so we're all
bigger game.
aware.
Everybody shrieks about it. I'm sorry, Aaron, I cut you off.
So. I was just adding that I too hope we beat Colorado. That's all I got.
You know, when I'm eating some of this delicious pipeline jerky, this pork jerky, this honey barbecue, delicious pork jerky, one of you other guys could talk.
Okay. I just,
If he puts those same cornerbacks in that they had on all these hype videos, we're going to torch him.
yeah, exactly. Oh, I haven't looked at the Dion stuff that closely. Other than I thought he looked dorky in a cowboy hat.
Brando Sports World said, well, before you know it, another season will be here again. Crazy. Can't wait for John's new content of us winning consistently and a post-game midfield video at the Big Ten Championship. John, you going to get credentialed?
I can't wait for my new content of us winning consistently either.
Well, I didn't mention anything about him getting credentialed. He's just going to run down there.
Damn right. I'm getting arrested. We're in the Big Ten Championship. I'll probably just get arrested for that.
All right. And at least, look, I'm doing my best. John's checked out as far as looking for comments. So I think this is the last one I have pinned. Dave in Omaha says, who from the chat will be at the meetup? That's right. Who is going to be out? Who of you Chatterfields are going to be out to see Todd and John at the tackling statue east side of the stadium on Saturday from noon to 1? That is the question.
Okay.
I mean, I'm waiting for them to answer. I know Josh isn't going to be there. I've seen some other comments say, oh, damn, I wish I was going to be there. Fred says he's there just so he can throw shit at you in person, which is fine. Jackie says, I like Sanders, but F Colorado. I've said this before. I don't like Sanders. I don't like Colorado, but I do like Bill O'Boyle, their assistant coach. So that's because of the ties that, I've broken bread with him. I've shared meals numerous times up in Shattering at our times there. Josh says, if I get there, can I lift John up like Bo did his cat? No, and it has nothing to do with John. It has everything to do with your thin and puny arms, Josh. I can say that. I know him personally. Fred says, I unfortunately will not. Lost track of time like Husker Nation. I actually won't be there. Got plans this Saturday. Disappointed. And Brando Sports World will be celebrating us winning the game in Hastings. That's right. I almost forgot. How did I forget? Not 12-0, 13-0.
Well, if you're going to do 13-0, then we're going to have it'll be like 15-0 or something after we win 2 playoff games and a championship or whatever the hell it is.
12-0 regular season.
Yeah.
Big Ten Conference Championship, so that was 13-0. National semifinal championship, 15-0. 16-0 with the spring game.
Yeah. Okay.
Or would you say 15.5? Because either way, you're guaranteed a dub.
Okay.
You know what?
Full 16.
I want to say this. John, you just reminded me of something adorable. And not you. I was waiting for you to acknowledge the joke. So there I was taking the twins, or getting ready to take the twins to daycare yesterday morning. And I look back. They're both in, forward-facing car seats now. And I look back and I say, you boys ready? And little Rob, a little 2-year and change Rob, looks at me with like 1.5 thumbs up like this. He's okay.
There you go.
It's like, yeah. I don't know where he learned to be so nice. It definitely is not for me. So, all right. Predictions for the game. We always do game predictions.
I will have fun.
John's prediction, fun. Aaron?
My prediction is that my lamb racks are going to be fantastic out of the smoker. That's really all that I can control. Give it 110%. It's going to be great.
My prediction is that I will not worry about staying off social media and the Slack chat because I won't be able to watch the game until Sunday because I'll be up north in the state capital for not political reasons, but for the weekend. So I'll watch the game on Sunday. What?
Go ahead.
Oh, I'll just watch the game on Sunday and kick back, enjoy it, fast forward through the commercials like I would any other game.
Sitting here in this bed like this with this tiny screen and stuff, I had never realized this before.
Oh, God.
But I could be a wizard. That didn't work like I think it was going to work. I could be like Sauron. Look at this. I could be like, Gandalf, bro.
I would say you're a shade more Gandalf than Sauron.
Oh, well, okay.
Sauron was the wizard. Sauron was the entity of evil, the Eye of Sauron in Mordor. So settle down there, Josh. I'm not even going to highlight that one. I'm just going to say
That's
settle
good.
down.
It was a pillow, for God's sakes.
It was a pillow. Brando Sports Rule says 31 Nebraska, 30 Nebraska. Fedone catches a nice 22-yard pass down the seam. Jackie says one defense beats one offense. I kind of could see that, actually. Yeah. Dion says it will heal all through the state. I saw one from Fred. Fred's prediction: Payne, Rhule will crush everything and strut out to staying alive.
Oh, that's what we need, is bring back disco.
No, we don't. We need to bring back, I guess would it be grunge? The popular music that was in like the heart of the 90s?
Yes, that would be grunge.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, more grunge, and that's what we're going to use to win. So I hope the football team of, 18 to 22-year-olds all in the locker room are listening to Nirvana, Pearl Jam, STP,
Alice in Chains.
Thank you. And like in Gilligan's Island and the rest. And that's going to be there. Nothing says I'm pumped up like come as you are, as you were. It's not exactly hype music. So Fred says I got to get it here.
Oh God.
No, it's probably fine. I read it ahead of time. John, Disco by God, woo, Mean Gene Johnston.
James Marshall.
I got it. A Smash Mouth game would be refreshing. You're right. I mean, they had, Smash Mouth from the 90s. They had All-Star, Walking on the Sun. I don't know if that's what James was thinking when he said a Smash Mouth and we were talking about bands from yesteryear. Why do I have one more pinned? Oh, here we go. Brando Sports World says, John better write a book about the season if we win this whole damn thing. A memoir of a true Husker fan.
I will. I'm going to take a screenshot of that.
All right. And, hey, while you're waiting for that book to be written, make sure you go and pick up one of John's other books.
Yeah.
Been Dead, Never Been to Europe. And if you can't find this one in print, because I think they're already on a second or third printing, then you can check out Manage Your Damage. All about John's recovery from heart and brain damage. Right, John?
Yes.
Yes.
We're fading.
I don't know what you're talking about, man. I've got this. Let me tell you. I've got this sweet pipeline pork jerky, honey barbecue, and it is a breath of fresh air. It's giving me new life. John, why are you pulling your best Burt Reynolds on a bear skin rug impression right now?
We're gonna have to get used to this 9:00 start.
I don't know what this we thing is. I'm young. Truth be told, if I wasn't sitting here talking with you guys and doing my best to entertain all the good folks, I'd probably already be asleep in my chair. So it's been known to happen. All right, with that being said, we appreciate all of you for joining us. We'll have another one of these next week as we recap the spring game, the Iowa series, and everything else that tries to take place right under our noses. And a lot of stuff we miss. Like women's bowling, making it to the national tournament. But we catch a lot of the stuff, and that stuff we catch, we talk about right here on the 5 Heart Podcast. Thanks to our Coronation baseball beat writer and fellow Chatterfield, Aaron Rostovsky, for joining us this week. John, I'll tell you what, man, you take that shirt off and you're just going to have all the ladies swooning.
Except they'll be blind from skin that hasn't seen the sun for 63 years.
Okay. I mean, we know that's not true, John. We have pictures of you from college.
Oh, wait. Brando Sports World says, I would like to buy a copy of that book. My son's grandpa just found out he has had brain cancer. Well, that sucks. The books at my books are on Amazon. So
when you do search for that, don't type in John Dam Johnston. They won't recognize that in the search. Just John Johnston, Jon space JOHNSTON, or you can type in Been Dead, Never Been to Europe, or Manage Your Damage. Great stuff. And we're definitely keeping, I'm going to say this diplomatically as I can, that random individual in our thoughts and prayers. Random to us, not to you, Brando. So, all right, that'll do it for this episode of the Five Heart Podcast. Thank you all. We will see you next week. Same bat time. May or may not be the same bat day, but that just kind of depends on schedules. It'll be Wednesday or Thursday, 9 o'clock. And you have, what are you? No, I'm not going to read that. All right. I don't know where that was going. All right, so again, for Aaron, for John, I'm Greg Mahatchko. This is the Five Heart Podcast. We remind you each and every week that Five Heart is all the heart you need. John.
Go Big Red.
Aaron.
I hate Iowa.
Rock on.
I like that one.
That's timely